One woman, okay, wanting rough sex is not a green light for you to assume that every woman desires that. One woman choosing, okay, and requesting rough sex with somebody else is not a green light that she wants it with you. And it certainly isn't a green light that you are entitled to it. I see so many comments underneath the videos that I've talked about, I've talked about sex, I've talked about what it's like as the individual in the room with somebody when penetration happens, for example. And in the comments, you've got people saying things like, but some women like it like that. We're not talking about those women. And even if we were, that doesn't mean you do anything you like anytime. That doesn't mean she wants that with you. And if somebody does request that, that doesn't mean you lose all humanity and you treat her as if she's not a human being. That is not an appropriate response to women having conversations, real conversations, about whether they felt safe or not in these situations, whether these situations were pleasurable or not. And that's the other thing, right? They like to talk about rough sex, but they're not talking about pleasure. Right? Because when every woman is different, but a request for dominance, a request for intensity, a request for pace, pressure is not a request for harm and danger and a lack of safety. It's not a request for outright disrespect. Right? It's very uncanny how some, not all, okay, you're just waiting for the opportunity to behave in inappropriate ways once you think you've got one little green light. What you need to understand is that it is still a privilege for someone to share their body, and implied in said request is usually trust. And yet you think it's okay to breach that trust. No. Right? I'm tired of seeing this kind of stuff underneath in the comments. It doesn't matter what other women like. Even if she does like it, that's one woman. Women are not monoliths. And actually, a decent, mature human being who is engaging in intercourse with someone understands that there is an element of trust here, and there should always be respect, humanity, and dignity. Otherwise, you are not mature enough to be doing this. You're not tall enough for the ride. That's why I will continue to speak about these things, and I've been speaking about it a lot on YouTube, because I can speak in longer form and I don't have to censor myself as much. Okay, but this is really important for us to dig into a lot of the time. But don't use these things as excuses. Don't use what could be a taste, a sexual preference that one woman has. And half the time, it's not a woman you've been with. You've either seen it in adult content, but it's not your woman. And just because you were with a woman before, it doesn't mean the woman you're with now wants that. Yeah, a healthy, mature, sane individual will check in. It's not an excuse to just do what you like. This is why we're having these conversations as women. And this is why I will continue to talk about this. Because especially for young women, they need to understand what they're up against if they are engaging in this type of activity.